portal. He's out for the year with a broken fibula or tibula or one of these ibulas. But the player, number one player in the country, pull up the stats real quick. Number one player in the country out of high school, depending who you asked. He's just okay, starting as a true freshman. You look at the size, 6'3", 230. He's got that for the career. So this is now through 2 seasons, basically as a starter, 4,819 yards, 7.3 yards an attempt, 31 touchdowns, 17 picks, passer rating of 140. 72 completion percentage, however, this year, which is a impressive number with a pretty bad offensive line, similar to Carson Beck in that way that he's able to string those completions together. So Mike or Pete, whoever wants to take it first, where are you guys at on Dylan Raiola?
Go ahead, Pete.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Okay. I think he's okay. Wouldn't be atop my shopping list. Do I think he could maximize his talents down here? Shannon Dawson's proven that he can do that with quarterbacks. If you were to give me random potential quarterback name generator, I think I'd have quite a few names ahead of him.
Okay.
But do I rate him more than Emory? I'm also not exactly sure I do.
Whoa. I mean, he started 2 years.
I mean, that's a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do like experienced quarterbacks. So I guess maybe, especially since he has the upside, and that's kind of hard to ignore. Emory doesn't have that upside. I think we kind of know what Emory's ceiling would be, which is you got to have a lot of talent around him. For me, and I'll hammer this point home because knowing what I know from last year, Raiola being a possibility last year with his camp kind of putting stuff out there, I don't want to have any tape out there of me. I don't want to relive the Mendoza experience, right? I think that he could do work here. For me, I think the most important thing when it comes to that position, Miami has an identity. And I'm sorry to Emory Williams. Miami's identity is they go shopping in the portal and they try to take the best name that's available in the portal and build them up and try to win that way. We know how touch and go it's been the last couple of years. We got 2 quarterbacks that ended up declaring for the NFL draft, and we talked them back into going into college. We were looking at Jalen Daniels tape, trying to see it was tough. We were this close entering this season with Emory Williams at quarterback. We might have cost ourselves Concepcion the year before. We cost ourselves CJ Daniels. We've had this conversation before. Whatever Miami does at the position, I know it's a little bit different now because the window starts in January. But I want that position solidified, and I want that position to be the first thing that's solidified this offseason so you can go out and build. Look how good Concepcion's been for Texas A&M. They absolutely nailed it in the portal. They knew who their quarterback was going to be. They sold him on a vision. When Concepcion came around and started taking visits with Miami, we had all this ambiguity surrounding the position, and I think it ultimately hurts your team's ability to win. I don't see the top dog like I saw with Cam Ward and Carson Beck even last year.
Right.
I think all these quarterbacks are bunched together. If I had to pick one that I like the most, it's Levitt.
Yeah.
I'll give you another name that I kind of like that I think Miami could do some winning with, and it's from the Big 12, Rocco Becht.
Uh-oh.
I think Rocco Becht would be a good fit down here. If you tell me right now I get Rocco Becht solidified at that position, go out and get talent around him, I think I'd be good. Bailey's also one of those names too.
Yeah.
I was a little worried with some of the stuff that I saw early on against Florida State, but he kind of settled in. If you tell me right now I get a quarterback that is like Bailey, let's use like.
Yeah.
Rather than these quarterbacks because they're playing for these other teams. Give me that right now. I have that position settled. Let me go pitch these prize talent positional players on. We have this quarterback. We're right there when it comes to the national title. Come here, elevate this quarterback. We have proof of concept and go. Pete, your thoughts?
I think that if Miami gets word that Sorsby is going to come back to school and not go to the league, that he right now would be the odds-on favorite to be Miami's quarterback next year. I think Raiola will be in the mix. I think Levitt will be in the mix.
Sorsby from Cincinnati.
You think Sorsby?
Yeah,
well,
I think
before you go, it's going back to you, but I want to, since you brought that up. So you see tweet from Bud Elliott saying this is a CBS college football reporter saying Miami are the field, thinking that Raiola would be a big possibility for Miami. But what I thought was interesting, and I'm going to give you back the mic on Sorsby.
I heard it was Sellers, or it was Sellers. It was Miami or the field too.
But there was a tweet from an On3 reporter responding to what Bud Elliott said. I'm trying to find the actual tweet, but somebody said that Sorsby he was hearing, this is an On3 reporter, that he was hearing that Sorsby was the guy for Miami. It was just a throwaway tweet. It wasn't like anything too
I
official.
wouldn't say that's a throwaway tweet. I think there's credence to it, D. I think
Yeah.
No, I think so too.
I think
the
that
pros,
would be-
the pros are going to loom large. I
Yeah.
think for Sorsby, there's no competition this year.
Mhm.
I think that
I think it's real too.
Yeah, I think you're setting the table now for a bunch of QBs.
He was a guy
to
that I
be
liked
honest.
earlier in the season, and the tape that he's put on. I know
I
he's-
just thought he should go to the league because the QB situation, the QB
Yeah.
class is
he's
not
been hurt
great.
though, right? He's been battling through an injury.
Has he?
They mentioned that on the broadcast. Like, I think there's an explanation for why his play's kind of
accuracy
tailed off
has
a little
not
bit.
been great, is what people have said. But no, I think he would be. I think Raiola again. I put a lot of weight into knowing that Miami was a big fan of his last offseason. I don't know what one season. Obviously, there will be some narrative that changes about him. I'm sure that he's got some warts on him, right? But I think Miami's a fan of the talent. I think there are better options.
What'd you think of Rocco Becht?
He's a good player. I think the upside's limited.
Yeah, D's not gonna like him because he doesn't have big arm and stuff like that. But I like him as a guy who can win. You
He's okay. You can win with him. I think a step down from some of the guys. I like talented guys. You know,
but you're gonna say he's not talented though. That's
he's college talented, but he's not like. I mean, if you ask me Lenore Sellers or Becht, I would say Lenore Sellers all day, every day by a mile.
Who's the most toolsy quarterback
Sellers.
that's been talked about?
Sellers.
You think he's the toolsiest?
He's. I mean, he might be drafted 4th, 3rd, 2nd round if he went pro this year.
Not
that he should.
Have you watched any of that Levitt tape?
Levitt's good. Levitt, the foot worries me. I've heard some character stuff too. He's not for
It's
everybody.
a broccoli haircut.
Yeah,
that's a character issue.
Listen, the character stuff we have to throw away right now. I think because both guys who got brought into Miami had character questions from
it's true.
scouts and stuff like that. So I think we gotta trust the staff that whoever they bring in feels like it's a good fit for Miami. I'm not completely disagreeing with you, D, on Levitt. But I also think that could play in Miami.
Yeah.
You know.
So Trey Kendrick says in the chat, Damon Williams from Washington. He was a name that I was looking at early on, and then I watched a couple of games of his. Dude cannot throw.
Yeah. So anyways, I pulled up this tweet from Clark Brooks. So he runs the transfer. I don't know if he runs, but he's the transfer portal reporter for On3, which again, On3 is a big deal now. They're spending a lot of money. They got real sources. They're on the cutting edge of a lot of these coaching searches and things like that, and the portal. So they're plugged in. So I wouldn't just push this aside. But he's saying Miami likes Sorsby despite the accuracy issues. What I'll say is this: Miami's been pretty tight-lipped on all this, and
they have to be.
And I've seen this process firsthand. I saw it last year. It's not a straight line process, right? So take everything you hear with a grain of salt, because a lot of people just don't know. Like, things change. It's a very fluid process.
I think they're lining guys up though, is what
they are, and agents are talking. So a lot of stuff I think you hear from like On3, right? Or what are some of these guys? Their sources for the most part are going to be agents for these quarterbacks. So a lot of that is in that side of the equation. But I think Sorsby, man,
I was a Sorsby guy.
I like
you know,
his talent.
In the group chat, like, when we're fantasy booking who Miami's quarterback would be, like, me and another person that likes to call himself a coach, we're out there doing the hard hitting evals on Sorsby, and I think some of that momentum is slowed, but I think you can explain it with the injuries. I've been a Sorsby guy. Yeah, some people are saying, do you like tools or college players? To me, I think you take a guy with tools that's good intangibles, like good mentally, and you put them behind the best pass protecting line in the country, which Miami has proven to be. And I just pulled the stat. Let me find the stat that I just tweeted out here. Miami's pass protection is the absolute best in the country by a mile. It's not even close right now. So if you take the absolute best pass protection in the nation by a mile, and here we go, here's the stat. Look at the difference between 1 and 2 here. And you put a talented quarterback behind it with NFL tools, they're more likely to realize those tools, because look at that pressure rate. I mean, that is, look at the difference between 1 and 2, and look at the difference between 2 and everybody else. Chat, stop saying messmaker. Some of you guys have deduced he's going to Oklahoma State.
Go Bucks.
Yeah. So
love that hire for us.
I was a package deal. DC's going there too.
Yeah. So that's where I would lean here when it comes to transfer portal quarterbacks. We'll see what happens with Sorsby. It's going to be an interesting thing, and Raiola, right? So Miami's going to be at the front of mind for all these guys.
Raiola's intriguing. I'm with the chat. I don't like the Patrick Mahomes thing either.
Yeah, it's too weird.
I think, to me, there are two that really, I guess, tickle my fancy the most in terms of names that are possibilities that have been rumored.
Tickle the fancy.
Yeah. I
Is
think
that
it's-
like a lewd saying that's been watered down over the years? Like, what does it mean? Because
have you ever had your fancy tickled?
it depends what you're talking about. That's what I'm saying. I want to know the origin. Is this a naturally lewd phrase that's just been, watered down over the years?
I like Levitt. I like the upside of Sellers intrigues me. The tools are there. I think Storesby's a good option. Again, like any of these names, you tell me that I have them set at the position, and I got coffers to go after all these other people. Give me that scenario. It's not a Cam Ward. It's not a Carson Beck type season. There isn't a perfect prospect out there at the position,
and they weren't
right
perfect
now.
themselves either.
No, but it was more character stuff, which you leave
injured.
a place. Yeah, but he had character stuff too.
Yep.
Locker room guy.
Yep.
Some of that stuff, like the internet's made up its mind about him. There is one thing that I wanted to get into before we get into the nonsense portion of this,
Please.
which is
We talked about the nonsense earlier.
yeah, I'm not going to invoke the Fighting Irish. It seems pretty clear the Fighting Irish will be ahead of Miami no matter what. So what is Miami's path to the CFP if that plays out? If that grave injustice is carried out? Miami's path. Last week we had the top 14 in the nation win all on the same week. That's the first time that's happened in years. It's rivalry week in college football. We need a chaos factor. But we need chaos factor specific to slots. I'm not even going to include Oregon in this because I saw what they did with Oregon. Moved them up one so they can survive that second loss. So we need chaos in spots 7 through 14. We need number 15 in Michigan to not win at Ohio State, because if Michigan wins at Ohio State, Miami is done, I think.
Yeah.
Done.
Dangerous. Yeah, dangerous spot.
We can't have that. And trusting Ryan Day in this game is pretty scary for any Miami Hurricanes fan. Here we go. Ole Miss, Egg Bowl. We've heard the committee. They've come out on record. They've already been knocked down a spot. This is a kooky game, a spooky Friday night. Mississippi State, they can win that game. They win that game. What happens with Lane? I am and credit to Lane Kiffin's camp. I've been on this. I know a decision was made. It was made on Friday. I'm certain it was effectively hijacked by LSU, and I think he's going to go to LSU. However, I haven't heard a peep since Friday when I was told that was when the decision was made.
Getting ready for the Egg Bowl.
That if you've seen his press conferences, I think he's handled it about as well as you can. The AD has come out and said a decision on Lane Kiffin's future will be announced Saturday. Let's say we follow the odds. Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. Does he stick around with Ole Miss? What does this do to the perception of Ole Miss? I think no matter what, you need Ole Miss to lose that Egg Bowl if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, because the specter of Lane Kiffin leaving, the committee already saying they'll hold that against Ole Miss if he does indeed leave. You have a legit shot. If Lane Kiffin's not going to be on that staff for the CFP, potentially, you have a legit shot. If you handle your business at Pitt at jumping Ole Miss, what say you?
I think if Mississippi State wins, we're going to jump Ole Miss easy. Ole Miss hasn't beaten anybody. Their momentum.
They beat Oklahoma.
You're right. You know what? They have. I can't believe Oklahoma has not lost one of these games. I thought that one of the reasons I was so confident was because I thought for sure
Venables was getting fired. I remember we were talking about it at
their schedule was brutal and their offense sucks. It still sucks, but they've been doing just enough. So credit to them getting it through, man. Yeah.
They've got LSU. If they lose, if Oklahoma goes to 3 losses, they're out.
Oklahoma out for sure. Alabama, I think, out probably
with a loss
unless they win the SEC.
Now that line is 5.5. Auburn has made big spreads tight in this game.
I think Texas jumps us if they beat A&M.
No, they don't. 3 losses, they won't.